Hi there, great session out at the range at weekend as usual. Just a quick recap on the key issues we covered. First of all, when looking at the setup from face on, the upper centre gets a little bit too much out in front of the lower centre, as we can see here, marked with the yellow and the red dots. For someone who has a plane line shifted so far to the right, we certainly don't want the upper centre getting too far forward, as this is going to make us hit down on the ball more and produce more outward or into out swing path that is already in excess. So balance that setup, get the centres stacked over the top of one another by all means, but we certainly don't want that upper centre too far in front, and we also don't want the weight moving too far forward at setup. So I prescribe at the moment maximum 55% weight on the left side. From face on, when we look at it compared to last time, that first move down with the left knee, much better. A little bit of separation now between the upper and lower centre. You can see putting some right tilt in there much earlier than before. I'd still like to see that left knee move out further and for longer. That would help shorten the circumference and tidy things up at P6, getting the release point a little bit more over the top of the ball and firming up that impact position. Having said that, pretty good progress. As we said, face on, shaft angle just a touch too vertical at impact, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as this recap goes on. When viewed from down the line, the first thing we notice is that first of all it gets a little bit long. I quite like that position there, but then what we're going to see now is a right elbow that just gets a little bit too far, not much, but just enough to move that club across the line and make the sequence in the downswing a little bit difficult. Consequently, the club lags behind us a little bit and gets a little bit underneath plane at P6. What we're also tending to do is not return to flexion properly. You can see the head drifting off the wall, and you can see the backside from about P6 onwards moving off that back line as well, which is a sign that the hip slide has stopped. Remember, hip slide from P7 onwards is what's keeping us inclined to the ground, so we've got to make sure that the hips continue to slide in this direction on the way through. However, having said that, I feel that if you can get this left knee moving out further in front of the left ankle, that's going to help keep you down a little bit more at P6 and allow you to extend at a much steadier rate. Initially what we've done here is we've just put a club at the side of the head or in front of the head just to allow you to get a feel for the proper rate of extension. We're going to get back into flexion just a touch more. P6 still, club lagging behind the hands. We get a little bit long and across the line because we've maintained our inclination to the ground. The exit point on that swing is a little bit lower as the arms have stayed on the rib cage for longer and turned the corner much better at P7. So all in all, try and stabilise the upper centre from both face on, as you do a good job of anyway, and from down the line. So a little bit of work with the head against the wall, and also increasing the movement, the hip slide through impact in this direction. But plenty of work on maintaining your inclination. Lots of shots stopping at chest height as well, just to calm things down and get those arms following, but the body staying on the rib cage through impact is going to help a little bit more with that. We then talked about your impact position and introducing a little bit more shaft lean coming into impact. What we've asked you to do here is imitate, if you will, Mike Bennett's impact position at setup. This is just a drill, so you're going to lean that shaft forward, you're going to put that hip slide in there now, creating some tilt here. We've got the shaft lean in there that we want, and all we're going to do now is make some little swings, allowing you to isolate that impact position and feel what it's like to come through with maximum shaft lean. So from there, we're just going to make a little backswing, nothing dramatic, and we're just going to try and recreate the good impact position that we want. Little move back, much better impact position than what we're seeing here. Remember what we said, familiarity is the key here. We've got to try and feel what we're looking for before we can achieve it at speed. So instead of coming through with a little bit of the club overtaking the hands, we're coming through with a much flatter left wrist controlling the rate of closure on the club face much better, presenting that club in a more appropriate manner at P7. The other thing we're also doing is feeling what it's like to get this left knee and hip further forward at impact. And we see here, you can see how your hip, your knee's a little bit back of where it would be at the bottom, and your hips are substantially back. Not enough hip slide. Better hip slide. Left leg straightening at a more appropriate stage. So again, just play that drill back for you. Set yourself up. Put the things in there that you want before you even start, and just become familiar with the impact position you want. Good luck with it. I look forward to working with you again in a few weeks' time. Well done.